How did one mean little poor family joke turn into a public moment where a staff member handed me papers and everyone watched my face change? What happens when the man you called too sensitive answers you with rules, dates, and a calm voice instead of a fight? My name is Mignon Caldwell, and people always think I am cold when I tell the truth fast. I worked in marketing, and I liked clean lines, clean clothes, clean stories. I liked to feel like I was moving up. Ethan, my husband, was the opposite in a simple way. He liked quiet evenings, fixed things before they broke, and talked about being grateful. He said it like a prayer. Sometimes I hated that word. That night started like any other family dinner, but I already felt tense. Ethan said we should go to a family restaurant near his parents' place. He said it was important. He said his mum wanted to see Sadie and give her a small gift. I agreed, but I also told myself I was doing a favor. The restaurant had long tables and loud plates. It smelled like fried food and warm bread. Ethan's parents were already there. His dad, Hank, sat with his shoulders forward, like he was trying to take up less space. His mum, Marisol, smiled too much, like she was asking for permission to exist. Ethan's sister, Kelsey, was there too. She looked at me like she was waiting for me to slip. I kissed cheeks and sat down. I noticed small things right away. Hank's jacket had a shiny spot on the elbow. Marisol's purse looked old. Their hands looked tired, and I felt something sharp in me, like a need to point it out before it pointed at me. Marisol asked how work was going. I said it was busy and that my team needed me. Hank asked Ethan about the city inspections. Ethan said he had a lot of sites this month. Kelsey asked me if I liked the new apartment they moved into. I said it was fine. Then Marisol told Sadie she saved a little money to buy her a book. She said it proudly. She said it like a victory. I smiled, but I also laughed a little, because I could not stop myself. I said it was cute how they still talked like saving $10 was a big event. I said some people never leave survival mode, even when they should. I said it like a joke, like I was helping them see the world. Ethan went still. He asked me, quietly, why I was talking like that. He said it was not kind. I told him I was only joking and that his family needed thicker skin. I said that in my family, we tease each other and nobody cries. Marisol's smile slipped for half a second. Hank stared at the table. Kelsey's eyes got hard. I saw it all, and I still kept going. I pointed at Hank's jacket and said I could buy him a new one if he wanted. I said it would be good for him to look more professional. I said it would help him feel confident. It sounded generous in my head. It sounded like I was lifting him up. Hank did not answer. He just moved his fork around his plate. Marisol said she was happy with what they had. She said they learned to make do. Ethan asked me again to stop. He said this was not the time. He said his parents were not a joke. I felt heat in my face. I felt like I was being scolded in public. So I turned it on him. I asked why he always defended them like they were helpless. I said he acted ashamed of me, like he wanted to hide my success. I said maybe he liked staying small with them, because it was easy. I watched people at the next table glance over. I liked that. I liked witnesses. It made me feel protected. Ethan said nothing loud. He did not slam the table. He did not threaten anyone. He just asked if we could talk outside for a minute. His voice was tight, but it stayed calm. I said no. I said we were already talking. I said he was making a scene. I said he was acting like I attacked him, when I was only telling a joke. Kelsey told Ethan to let it go, for now, but she did not look at me when she said it. Marisol asked if anyone wanted dessert. Hank kept staring down. Their silence annoyed me more than yelling would have. After the dinner, Ethan paid. He always paid. He did it like a habit, like he was trying to be steady. I let him. I told myself it was his job to handle that part. Respect follows results. And I had results. I had a career. I had plans. I did not see why I should bow down to people who looked like they never tried. In the car, Ethan asked why I enjoyed humiliating them. He asked it like he already knew the answer, and still wanted me to say it. I told him I did not enjoy it. I told him he was twisting it. I said his parents always made me feel judged, even when they smiled. I said they wanted me to feel guilty for having more. He asked how they judged me exactly. I said they judged me with their faces. I said their apartment smelled like old cooking oil in the past. I said they talked like the world owed them pity. I could hear myself getting meaner, and I kept pushing anyway, because stopping would mean I was wrong. Ethan did not answer for a while. At a red light, his phone lit up on the console. I saw the screen for a moment. It showed a calendar reminder that said, "Meeting, personal, 7:10 p.m. The location line was blank. He tapped it fast and turned the phone face down. I asked what that was. He said it was just a reminder. He said it was nothing. I said it looked secret. He said I was reading into it. When we got home, the house felt too quiet. Sadie went to her room with the book Marisol gave her. I went to the kitchen and started telling the story again, because I wanted it to sound funny now. I called my sister Taryn, and I spoke loud enough for Ethan to hear. Taryn asked how dinner went. I said his parents were the same, still acting proud of being broke. I said it was like they wore it like a badge. I said Ethan got dramatic again. Taryn laughed and said I should stop dating down in my own marriage. I laughed too. Ethan stood in the doorway and asked why I was doing this. He asked why I needed an audience. I told him I did not need one. I said he was paranoid. I said if he did not act embarrassed, nobody would notice. He said his parents noticed. He said Sadie noticed. He said I was teaching our child to look down on people. I told him he was being extreme. I told him I was teaching Sadie to have standards. He walked away without shouting. He went upstairs. I stayed in the kitchen and looked at the counter like I had won something. Then my phone buzzed with a notification preview from my social app. My story was already getting reactions. Hearts, laughing faces, a few comments that said I was so real. I posted another line. I wrote that some families never leave the poor mindset. I added a laughing emoji. I told myself it was harmless. From the hallway, I heard Ethan's phone buzz once more, softer this time. I saw him pass the top of the stairs with it in his hand. The screen flashed, and then it went dark as he turned it down again. He did not look at me when he did it. He just kept walking, like he had somewhere else to be, even inside our own house. By the next morning, I acted like nothing happened. I made coffee, packed Sadie's lunch, and put on my best blazer. I told myself that a hard night did not mean a hard life. I told myself Ethan would cool down, like he always did. He was the type to swallow feelings and call it peace. Ethan came into the kitchen and asked if we could talk later. He said he did not want another scene. I said there was no scene, only him being sensitive. I said I had work and deadlines and adult problems. I watched his face close a little, like a door that no longer wanted to open. He drove Sadie to school. I usually did it, but I let him. I told myself it was fair, since he was the one upset. When he came back, he did not argue. He put his keys in the same spot and washed a mug, then set it on the drying rack. It was not my mug. It was his. He placed it on the far side of the counter. It looked like a small line between us. At the office, I stepped into the open plan space like it was a stage. People smiled and asked how my weekend was. I said it was busy and fun. I did not mention the dinner. I saved that story for people who mattered more to my mood. Nia Volkov rolled her chair over and asked if I was still coming to brunch. I said yes. She asked if Ethan was coming. I said he did not like crowds and that he was in a weird mood lately. I said it with a small laugh, like it was cute. Nia frowned and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and that I was just tired of carrying everything. That was how I framed it. I carried, he dragged. At brunch, the cafe was bright and noisy. People wore clean sneakers and talked about trips and new gyms. I liked that world. It felt like winning. My sister Taryn came too, even though she did not work with us. She liked being around my friends because she liked attention. Nia asked how family dinner went. I said it was a mess because Ethan's parents always made things awkward. I said they acted like martyrs. I said Ethan got defensive like a little boy. I watched faces lean in. I watched heads nod. I felt power return to my body. Taryn asked if Ethan's dad still wore that sad jacket. I laughed and said yes. I said his parents treated a coupon like it was a medal. I said I grew up with standards, and I could not pretend I did not notice. I said it was not my fault they chose that life. One of the girls, Ria from design, asked if Ethan was stingy with money. She asked it like a joke, but she also asked it like a test. I did not correct her. I said Ethan was strict, and that he liked to control budgets. I said he acted like we were always one step from being broke. I said it made me feel trapped. That was not true in a clean way. Ethan paid bills on time. He saved. He planned. But when I said control, it sounded like a warning. It made him look like the villain, without me saying the word. Nia asked if Ethan ever raised his voice. I said he got quiet, and that was worse. I said he used silence to punish me. I said it made me anxious. I watched Ria's mouth tighten, like she was thinking, poor Mignon. I let her think it. Someone held up a phone and said they should do a short video for stories. I smiled and leaned in. I said, laughing, that marrying into poverty culture was like joining a club you never asked for. I said it was exhausting. I said it while sipping iced coffee, like it was casual truth. After brunch, I checked my phone and saw a tag. A clip was already up. My laugh was loud. My words were clear. It looked worse than it felt in the moment, but I still told myself it was fine. People loved honesty. Back at the office, the clip found its way into other hands. I saw a few coworkers glance at me, then glance away. At first, I felt proud. Then I felt a small twist in my stomach. It was not guilt, it was risk. Around mid-afternoon, a message popped up from HR. It asked if I had a quick word when I had time. It used polite language, but the meaning was sharp. I felt my throat go dry for a second. Nia noticed my face and asked what happened. I said HR always overreacted. I said someone probably complained about tone. I said it was annoying how people could not handle jokes anymore. She asked if it was about the brunch clip. I said it was not a big deal and that Ethan's family was not even in it. I did not say the real fear, which was that the office liked clean reputations, and my life was getting messy. When I walked to the HR room, my heels sounded too loud on the hall floor. Inside, the HR manager, Lila Grant, asked if I was aware of a video circulating. She asked if it was filmed during a work-related gathering. She asked if I understood the company's policy on respectful conduct. I said it was personal time and friendly teasing. I said nobody was harmed. I said it was being taken out of context. Lila asked if I could remove it. She asked if I could avoid speaking about private people connected to my work circle. I said I would consider it because I hated being told what to do. Lila looked at me for a long moment and said she was not judging my marriage, only my workplace behavior. I nodded and smiled like I understood. Inside, I felt insulted, like I was the one being bullied. When I got back to my desk, a new email sat in my inbox. It was from Brent Harlow, the regional sales rep who visited our team sometimes. He said he loved my confidence at brunch. He said most people were fake and I was refreshing. He asked if I wanted to grab a quick coffee later to talk about a campaign idea. Brent always wrote like he was offering help, but it felt like flirtation. I told myself it was networking. I told myself Ethan had no right to complain if I was building connections. I replied and said yes, if time allowed. That evening, when I got home, Ethan was in the kitchen again. He asked how my day was. I said it was stressful because HR had to babysit adults. He asked why HR talked to me. I said someone was jealous and reported a harmless joke. He asked what joke. I said it was nothing. I said he should stop interrogating me. I said he was acting controlling again. He looked at me like he wanted to speak, then he didn't. Later, I heard a short sound from the hallway, like paper being fed through something. Then a low hum, then silence. I stepped out and saw Ethan tying a trash bag. He said it was just junk mail. I said he was weird lately. He said he was tired. In the bedroom, he asked if I could stop talking about his parents, like they were a joke for my friends. I said his parents should be grateful I even showed up. I said I married him, not them. I said if he wanted me to respect them, they should act respectable. He turned away and said he did not want to fight. I said he always ran away from real talk. He did not answer. He just took his phone and set an alarm, then placed it face down on the nightstand. I lay there and scrolled through the comments on my video. Some people laughed. Some people wrote that I sounded cruel. One person wrote that Ethan looked like a good man and I sounded spoiled. I blocked that one. I told myself I did not need negativity. In the dark, Ethan's phone buzzed once with a notification I could not see. He reached for it fast and swiped it away. He did not explain. He did not look at me. He only turned his body slightly, creating space I did not ask for, but could not stop. The next days felt like a test, and I decided I would win it by acting like I was fine. I said to myself that Ethan was the one with the problem. I said he was too attached to his parents and their struggles. I said he wanted me to feel guilty for wanting more. That story made my chest feel calm, so I kept telling it. At work, I noticed people watching me in a new way. It was not admiration. It was more careful than that. I blamed HR for making everything tense. I blamed Ethan too, even though he was not there. I told myself that if he was a stronger man, my jokes would not look so ugly. Brent Harlow came by the office on Wednesday. He wore a clean shirt that looked expensive without shouting about it. He walked like he knew doors would open for him. When he stopped at my desk, he asked how I was doing after the drama. He said it with a smile, like it was funny. I told him HR was overreacting. I told him people were too sensitive lately. He said he liked that I did not shrink. He said most women tried to be polite all the time, and it was boring. He said I had a sharp mind. I let myself enjoy that. He asked if I wanted to join some coworkers at a rooftop bar that night. He said it could help me reset. He said it was good to be seen with the right people. I said yes, and I told myself it was a work thing. I did not mention it to Ethan until later, and even then I said it like a simple update, not a question. At home, Ethan was quiet again. He made dinner for Sadie and helped her with homework. He asked her about school in a soft voice. He asked me about my day in a careful voice. I did not like that. It sounded like he was measuring his words, like he was speaking to a stranger. He asked if I planned to come home late. I said I had a work social thing. He asked who would be there. I said co-workers. He asked if Brent would be there. I told him he was being suspicious and controlling. I said he was trying to police my life because he felt insecure. He said he was not trying to police me. He said he wanted honesty. He asked if I could stop turning every question into an attack. I told him he was turning every joke into a crime. He did not shout back. He only nodded once, like he was writing something down in his mind. When I went to change, I noticed a faint smell like toner in the hallway. I looked toward Ethan's small desk area and saw a printer tray half open. A single blank page sat on top like it had just been pushed out. I asked why he printed nothing. He said the printer did that sometimes. He said he was trying to print a form for school, but it did not work. I said it was weird. He said I should not worry about it. On the kitchen counter, his laptop was open for a second before he closed it. I caught the look of a spreadsheet grid. It had columns and rows, but no title at the top that I could see. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing household things. He said he wanted to be better at planning. I said he should plan how to stop being embarrassed by his own family. He did not reply. At the rooftop bar, the city looked clean from above. The lights made everything feel expensive. Music was loud, and people laughed like they had no consequences. I liked being there because it made my life at home feel smaller, like it could not touch me. Brent stayed near me all night. He brought me a drink without asking too much. He asked what Ethan did for work again, and when I said building inspections, he smiled and said it sounded basic. I laughed. I told him Ethan was good at rules and routines. I said he was the type to be proud of fixing a leaky pipe. Brent said some men use chores to avoid real life. I agreed too fast. A few co-workers started taking photos. Nia was there, but she did not look as excited as she usually did. She asked if I was sure being out was a good idea after the HR talk. I told her HR could not control my personal time. I said I was not a child. She said she hoped I was not making things worse. I said she was being dramatic. Someone suggested a toast. They said it was to glow-ups and not settling. I lifted my glass and smiled. Brent asked if my husband ever made me feel small. I said yes. I said he did it with his guilt and his needy family stories. I said he acted like money was a sin. I said I wanted to breathe. Brent said I deserved to breathe. He said he could tell I was not appreciated at home. I did not correct him. I did not say Ethan washed dishes and packed lunches and rubbed Sadie's back when she had nightmares. Those details did not fit the version of Ethan I needed that night. When I left the bar, Brent offered to walk me to my car. I said yes, and I told myself it was safer. In the parking garage, the air was cold and smelled like concrete. Brent asked if I was happy in my marriage. I said happiness was complicated. I said Ethan was a good father, but not a good match for my growth. He asked if I ever thought about leaving. I said I thought about being respected. I said respect follows results, and I had results. Brent said he respected me. He said I should not waste my best years feeling trapped. I went home late. I checked my phone in the elevator and saw I had a message from Ethan. He asked what time I would be home. I did not answer right away. I wanted him to wait. I wanted him to feel what I felt when he defended his parents. I told myself it was fair. When I walked into the house, Ethan was sitting at the table with a mug. His mug. My mug was in the sink. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked if Brent was there. I said yes, and I asked why it mattered. He said he was not accusing me. He said he only wanted clarity. I said he was jealous. I said he was threatened by confident people. He asked if I could just answer simple questions without insults. I said he started it by acting like my jokes were abuse. He did not rise from his chair. He did not block my way. He did not touch me. He stayed lawful in the smallest sense, like even his body was trying not to do anything that could be used against him. That made me feel strangely nervous, and I hated feeling that. The next day, I picked Sadie up from school. Ethan was already there, standing near the fence with other parents. He waved at Sadie and smiled, calm and normal. It looked wrong, like he should be angry if I was the villain he needed me to be. In the car, Sadie asked why Dad slept in the guest room sometimes. She asked if Mum and Dad were mad. I said Dad was being sensitive. I said grown-ups had stress. I told her everything was fine. That night, when I went to the kitchen for water, I saw Ethan's phone on the counter for a second. A tab was open on his screen. It looked like Notary near me, or maybe delivery tracking. He noticed me and locked the screen fast. I asked what he was searching. He said it was for work errands. He said I should not worry. I went back to bed and told myself he was bluffing, like always. But I could not sleep right away, because the quiet felt organized now, not sad. It felt like he was building something without me, and I did not know what it was. On Saturday, Ethan said we should visit his parents for dinner again. He said it was Marisol's idea. He said she wanted to smooth things over. I agreed, but I decided I would not bend. I told myself I did not owe anyone an apology for being honest. We drove to their apartment in the late afternoon. The building was older and smelled like boiled cabbage in the hallway. The elevator shook when it moved. I looked at Ethan and said his parents should really move somewhere nicer now that they were stable. He asked me to stop before we even knocked. I said I was only trying to help. Marisol opened the door with a big smile. She said she was happy we came. Hank stood behind her and nodded once. Kelsey was there too, sitting on a small chair near the window. She had her arms crossed, like she came to guard the room. Inside, the living room felt cramped. There were family photos on the wall, most of them old. The couch fabric looked worn. A fan hummed in the corner. I could tell Marisol had cleaned and tried to make it nice. That effort made me feel annoyed, because it was still not the kind of nice I understood. Marisol offered me tea in a chipped cup. I held it and said it was vintage, like a joke. She laughed softly, but it sounded forced. Hank asked Ethan about work. Ethan answered politely. He always did that. He could act normal while I burned inside. During dinner, Marisol brought out a simple stew and bread. She said she learned the recipe from her mother. She said it was comfort food. I ate 2 bites and said it was hearty. Then I said, without thinking, that comfort food was what people cooked when they did not have options. The room went quiet. Ethan asked me what I meant. I said I meant it was filling, but it was also basic. I said there was nothing wrong with basic, unless you stayed basic forever. I looked at Hank and said, lightly, that some families were proud of making less look like more. Hank's jaw tightened. Marisol's eyes got shiny. Kelsey leaned forward and asked why I talked like that. She asked if I enjoyed making her parents feel small. I said I did not make them feel anything. I said feelings were their choice. Ethan asked me to apologize. He asked it in the calm tone he used when he did inspections and explained rules to people. I hated that tone because it sounded like he was correct. I told him I would not apologize for noticing reality. I said he wanted me to lie. I said he wanted me to pretend his parents' life was inspiring. I said I was tired of pretending. Kelsey said I was cruel. She said I was trying to break Ethan on purpose. She said I was a bully with a nice haircut. I felt my face heat up, and I told her she was jealous. I said she was angry because she never left the neighborhood, and I did. Hank pushed his chair back slightly. He did not stand up. He did not yell. He just said, in a low voice, that he worked hard and he was not ashamed. He said he did not ask for my respect. He said he only asked me to stop mocking his wife. Marisol asked everyone to calm down. She said Sadie was listening. I glanced at Sadie and saw her staring at her bowl, very still. That bothered me for a second, but I pushed it away. I told myself children forgot things fast. Ethan asked if we could leave. I said fine, and I stood up quickly. I wanted it to look like I was the one ending it. Marisol tried to hand Sadie a small bag of cookies for later. I took it and said, too sharply, that Sadie already had enough sugar in her life. Marisol pulled her hand back like she got burned. On the way out, I heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone. It was quick, like a little start and stop. I looked back. Ethan held the phone low near his pocket. He met my eyes for half a second and then looked away. I asked what that sound was. He said it was nothing, just a notification. I said he was acting secretive. He said we should focus on getting Sadie home. In the car, Sadie asked why Grandma looked like she wanted to cry. She asked if Mom made Grandma sad. I said Grandma was emotional. I said Grandma was sensitive, like Dad. I told Sadie that some people use tears to control others. It sounded smart when I said it, like I was teaching her something important. Ethan gripped the steering wheel tighter. He asked me not to talk like that in front of Sadie. I said he was trying to censor me. He said he was trying to protect our child. I said our child needed to learn that the world did not stop for feelings. When we got home, Ethan carried Sadie inside. and went straight to her room to help her change into pajamas. I stayed in the living room and scrolled on my phone. I saw comments on my older brunch clip again. Some people still laughed. Some people called me mean. I decided the mean ones were just insecure. I posted a new story, not about Ethan's parents directly, but close enough. I wrote that some families had a poverty mindset and tried to spread it like a disease. I added a smiley face like it was casual wisdom. My sister Taryn replied fast and said I was brave for saying what others thought. That made me feel steady again. A few minutes later, Ethan came out of Sadie's room and asked if I could take the post down. He said his cousin had messaged him about it. He said his mother saw it. I said it was my page and my opinion. I said he could not control me. He asked why I needed to humiliate them online. I said I was not naming anyone. I said if they felt guilty, that was on them. He said they did not feel guilty, they felt attacked. I said maybe they should ask why they felt attacked by the truth. Ethan did not argue longer. He walked to the kitchen and opened a drawer. I heard a small click, like a lock. He took out a folder and set it on the counter, then moved it away when he noticed me watching. I only saw the edge of a label. It looked like it said household or bank, but he turned it so fast I could not be sure. He poured water into a mug. Not my mug, his mug. He set it on the far side of the counter again. That small distance made my stomach twist. I did not want him to separate from me in quiet ways. I wanted him to fight, because fighting meant he still needed me. The next day, I took Sadie to the playground to show Ethan I could be a good mum. I told myself that if I looked like the stable parent, the world would stay on my side. At the playground, Sadie ran to the slide. I sat on a bench and watched other parents. Sadie came back with sand on her hands and asked if Dad loved Grandma more than Mom. The question hit me like a slap because it was simple and public. I said Dad loved us both, but Grandma acted helpless. I said Dad liked to rescue people. I said that was his weakness. Later, I stopped at the grocery store. I was in the checkout line when I saw Marisol in the next aisle. She held a small basket with store-brand items. She looked thinner than last night. When she saw me, she froze for a moment, then looked down and moved away. I felt offended by that small move. I told myself she was trying to make me feel like a monster. I followed the line forward and paid, tapping my card like it was a weapon. In the parking lot, I saw Marisol loading her bag into an old car. She did not look at me. She did not wave. She just closed the door gently and drove off. On the drive home, I kept hearing Sadie's question in my head, and I hated it. Not because it was unfair, but because it made me look bad in a way I could not edit. When I pulled into the driveway, Ethan's car was already there, pointed toward the street instead of toward the garage, like he could leave fast if he wanted. Inside, the guest room door was cracked. The bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had sat there recently. I told myself it meant nothing. I told myself Ethan was just being dramatic. But I could not ignore the feeling that the family was no longer one group. It was becoming teams, and Ethan was quietly choosing his side. Friday was the kind of day I liked, because I could hide inside routines. I dressed well, walked into the office like I owned my space, and told myself the week would end with me still in control. I kept thinking about Ethan's family dinner and Kelsey's angry eyes, but I pushed it down. I told myself they were all being dramatic. I told myself I was the only adult in that room. Around lunch, Brent Harlow sent a message that made me smile before I could stop it. He wrote that I deserved better energy than sad family guilt. He asked if I wanted to meet after work for a quick coffee. He added a little joke about how I looked too sharp to be stuck with people who did not understand success. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was only words. I replied with a short answer and a smile emoji. I also deleted the thread preview from my lock screen, like that made it cleaner. Later, I stepped into the office corridor to take a call. I saw Ethan near the elevators. He was not supposed to be there. He held Sadie's small backpack in one hand. He said Sadie forgot a folder and the teacher needed it for Monday. He said he thought he would bring it to my car later, but he finished early. He looked calm. That calm annoyed me. I wanted him to be messy so I could call him the problem. He asked if we could talk for 5 minutes, somewhere quiet. He said he did not want to argue at home again. I said I was busy. I said it was not my fault his family took jokes like knives. I said he should stop trying to police my mouth. He asked why everything had to be about winning. He asked why I could not just be kind one time. I said kindness was not the same as pretending. I said his parents used their hard life like a shield. I said he used them like a reason to stay small. He did not raise his voice. He said he was tired of defending basic respect. He said he did not want Sadie to hear more insults about her grandparents. He said it was not healthy. I opened my mouth to say he was overreacting, and then my phone lit up. A notification banner popped up across the screen. Brent's name showed, clear as day. It said something like, "Tonight, just us. You need a real man who gets you." Ethan's eyes moved to the screen. He did not grab my phone. He did not accuse me loudly. He only stared for a second, like he was putting a piece into place. I locked the screen fast and said it was work. I said Brent was dramatic. I said Ethan was paranoid for looking at my phone like that. He asked who Brent was to me. He asked if I was being honest. I said he was a client contact, and Ethan was making it weird. I said Ethan's insecurity was embarrassing me in my own workplace. Ethan said he was not embarrassed. He said he was learning. He said he would talk at home when Sadie was not near. He handed me the folder from Sadie's bag and walked away without another word. That evening, the house felt like a stage, and I wanted to control the script before Ethan did. I picked up Sadie from after-school care and acted cheerful. I made her noodles and put on a cartoon. I laughed with her for a few minutes to prove, to myself, that I was a good mother. When Ethan got home, he did not go to the couch. He went straight to the kitchen and washed his hands. He took out 2 mugs and set them apart again, his on one side, mine on the other. That small habit made my skin itch. He asked if we could talk after Sadie went to bed. I said sure, but I already felt ready to fight. I told myself a fight would bring him back into my space. Quiet distance felt worse. After Sadie fell asleep, Ethan sat at the kitchen table. He did not sit close. He asked about Brent's message. He asked it in a plain voice, like he was asking about a bill. I said he should not read my phone. He said he did not read it, he saw it. He asked if I was seeing Brent. I laughed and said Ethan was acting crazy. I said he was trying to trap me with jealous questions. I said he needed therapy. He asked me to answer without insults. He asked if I had been honest with him these past weeks. He asked if my late nights were real work or something else. I said he pushed me away. I said his poor family drama drained me. I said he cared more about protecting his parents' feelings than protecting my confidence. I said Brent simply listened, and Ethan never did. Ethan asked if I heard myself. He asked why his parents were always the target. He asked why I needed to crush them to feel tall. I said I did not crush them. I said they chose their lives and I chose mine. I said if they felt ashamed, that was not my job to fix. He asked me to apologize. He said it was not only about them. He said it was about how I treated him too, in public, in private, online. He said he felt like a prop in my story. I told him he was being dramatic again. I said he loved playing the victim. I said he wanted everyone to pity him because he grew up poor. I said respect follows results, and I had results, so why should I bow down? Ethan listened without interrupting. That silence made me push harder. I said Brent made me feel seen. I said maybe I needed a man who could keep up. I said maybe Ethan should be grateful I stayed as long as I did. I watched his face change, not into rage, but into something closed and clean. Ethan stood up slowly. He went to the hallway and opened a drawer. I heard a small click like a lock. He took his keys out. There was a new key on the ring that I did not recognize. He did not explain it. I asked where he was going. He said he was not going to argue anymore. I said he was running away. Like always. He said he was choosing peace. He walked into the guest room and came out with a small bag. It looked light, like he planned for this. That thought made my stomach drop, so I tried to turn it into anger. I asked if he was really leaving because of one message. He said it was not one message. He said it was months of disrespect and years of small cuts. He said he did not want Sadie to grow up thinking love meant humiliation. I told him he was making a big mistake. I told him no woman would tolerate his broke family baggage. I told him he would regret it when he was alone. He did not answer that. He went to Sadie's room, woke her gently, and helped her put on shoes. Sadie asked where they were going. He said she would sleep at Grandma Marisol's tonight, and it would be calm. Sadie looked at me and waited for me to say something kind. I did not. In the driveway, Ethan buckled Sadie into the car seat with careful hands. He checked the strap twice. He stayed calm like a man following rules. I stood by the front steps and told him he was trying to punish me. He looked at me once with tired eyes and said he was not punishing me. He said he was handling it properly. Then he got into the car, backed out slowly, and drove away without speeding, without drama. I went inside and felt the house swallow the sound. I told myself he would come back in an hour. I told myself he was bluffing to scare me. My phone buzzed on the counter. It was not Brent. It was a system notification from our shared cloud storage. It said, "File uploaded successfully." Then another, and another. I stared at the screen, and for the first time, I did not feel tall at all. The next Monday, I went to a co-working space downtown because I did not want to sit alone at home. I told myself I needed focus. I told myself Ethan would cool down and come back once he missed me. I wore a clean outfit and made sure my hair looked sharp like a shield. In the lobby, people typed on laptops and waited for coffee. It felt safe because nobody knew my story. I picked a chair near the front windows. I opened my email and pretended I was busy. I kept checking my phone for Ethan's name. Nothing came. A woman in a plain blazer walked in and looked around like she had a list. She walked straight toward me. She asked if I was Mignon Caldwell. I said yes, because I thought it was about a membership issue. She asked me to confirm my address. I did, annoyed. Then she held out a thin packet and said she needed to hand it to me. I took it, still not understanding. I saw my name printed clearly. I saw Ethan's name too. My stomach tightened. Ethan walked in right after, calm and slow, like he planned his steps. He did not bring friends. He did not bring anger. He stood a few feet away and kept his hands open at his sides. People in the lobby looked up because they felt the tension, even if they did not know why. I asked Ethan what this was. He said it was the proper way. He said he was not going to argue anymore. He said everything would be handled through the process. His voice was flat, not cruel, but final. I flipped the first page and tried to read, but my eyes jumped. I saw words about divorce. I saw temporary orders. I saw dates. I told him this was an ambush. I said he wanted to humiliate me in public. He said I humiliated him in public first, and he was done with that cycle. He said he chose a public place, so it stayed calm. He said he wanted witnesses for peace, not for drama. I said he was being petty. I said he could have talked to me like a real man. He said he did talk many times, and I turned every talk into a performance. He said he would only talk about Sadie now. My hands shook as I read more. The pages said I could not post about him or his family in a harmful way. It said we had to follow a short-term parenting plan. It said pick-up and drop-off times. It said where Sadie would sleep on school nights, starting now. It also said money had to be handled in a fixed way for bills, and for Sadie, with clear rules. I asked if he was trying to take my child. He said no, He said Sadie needed stability, and the schedule gave that. He said I could still be her mother, but not in chaos. He said he would not fight in front of her anymore. I looked up and saw Nia near the coffee station. Her face was pale. She looked away fast, like she did not want to be pulled into this. I tried to speak louder, to pull the room back onto my side, but my throat failed me. The top page had a line I could not ignore. It said the orders were effective today.